Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 2 of Across the Diamond. And if you're not aware, this is a series where I bring on a guest and we talk about the connections between my favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds, and their favorite team. And the franchise that we're talking about today is a franchise that's pretty unpopular in Reds country. But the guest that I'm bringing on, he is definitely not unpopular to me. He's a great guy. He's got an awesome YouTube channel, awesome collection as well. He's serves our country, so he's a hero to me. And he's got one of the best mustaches around. Let's bring him on. My buddy John from Nerding Out with Cards. How you doing, bud?
Awesome, Rob. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this. I'm flattered that you had me on for this episode.
No problem, no problem. And before we get into everything, I just wanted to know a little bit about your background as a Cardinal fan. Like, how long have you been a fan of the team? When did it all start for you?
So I've been a Cardinals fan, all me blooming life. That's kind of a nautical reference, but no, my parents are from the St. Louis area. My dad was in the Navy growing up, but yeah, so I've been a Cardinals fan my whole life. Our summer vacations were always coming back home to St. Louis. When he retired in 2002, that's where they moved back to, or we moved back to. And then, I joined the Coast Guard 2006 or 2005 is when I went to boot camp. But yeah, I've just been a Cardinals fan my whole life, and you know,
That's
I
awesome.
don't know any other way. I mean, I was luckily, my parents raised me right.
Yeah, and I mean, these franchises, I mean, they've been around forever. I mean, a lot of history there.
Oh
And
yeah,
the fan bases for both teams is wild, man. I mean, because we draw fans from all around the tri-state area, Indiana, Kentucky, and it even goes out a little further for us. So, like into West Virginia, things like that. So, and I know Cardinals, they have a following kind of similar to that.
yeah. At one point in time, the Cardinals were the furthest west team in baseball.
Yeah,
Until the westward expansion with the Dodgers and the Giants. But yeah, I mean the Reds are the oldest National League team in history, and there for a long time they were. It was they played the first game of the season. Really good stuff.
well, see the
But
Red. That's how the Reds were for a while as well, playing the first game
yeah,
on
yeah,
every
yeah, it
day.
was the Reds. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and weren't you guys like? I remember before realignment, the Reds were in the Western Division. Were you guys in the Eastern Division?
yeah,
And that was. I always thought that was funny because you guys were more west than
yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, that's kind of one of those things where it's just like the Reds and the Cardinals have been in the National League forever,
Yeah,
and you would think that there'd be more um, clashes, so to
right.
speak, and there hasn't really been that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it kind of just recently. I mean, over the past 20 some years, there's been kind of a little bit of some clashes between the two teams, but not way back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right, man. Well, let's jump into this. What I want to do, what I want to start with is showing some of our favorite cards of the other team. And I have a nice little pile of my favorite Cardinal cards. And I was wondering if you might have had some Reds cards that you want to show.
yeah. And I also have one other thing too. I got to grab. There we
And
go.
I'm gonna jump, put us in a showdown mode here. There you go. I'll steal that phrase from another channel and show.
All right. So the first one I'm going to show is King Griffey Jr. hits 500th home run.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about this one, and I have it on the back, is I was at the game.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude.
And so
That's
like
sweet.
one of these days I want to get like a frame up or whatever, but I bought this 8x10 picture
Yeah.
of it.
Was that
And
was on Father's Day, right?
yeah, and it's funny because the reason why I went to the game was because of Lou Brock bobblehead day.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a
So
Blue Rock bobblehead
that's
game.
yeah, but I ended up seeing Griffey hit his 500th home run instead. So that I mean that was as far as like at the ballpark, that's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen.
The pitch. And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. A high drive into the lower deck and right. Number 30 touches them all. And boy, what a Father's Day gift for Senior.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
Unfortunately, like for y'all, it didn't happen in Cincinnati.
Right.
Similar to Poole sitting in Los Angeles instead of St. Louis, but yeah,
Yeah, I tried. Me and my cousin. I remember that time. We had like not full season tickets, but we had a couple different packages. And
yeah.
he was at 498, and there was one game we went to. It might have been against the Marlins. He hit two to the wall that game.
Oh,
Two balls. I mean, right up against the wall, and I'm like, oh man, I wanted to see that 500 so bad. But that was a
right.
great. That was. I mean, he hit that off of Matt Morris, I believe.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then he got to see his dad was at the game, and it was just he's always been a big family guy, and
Yeah,
cool.
it was amazing.
I'm glad you got to
know?
experience that, man.
The other Reds card I have is this league leader card. It's got Joey Votto on there,
There you go.
and of course I have it because it's a Pujols league leader card. But Joey Votto's on there. He was a great player. This is a home run card.
Yeah, those teams, our teams had two of the best first basemen in the league for quite a while there.
Oh yeah, I mean first base was stacked there in the National League there for a time.
Right.
And then one of my like all time favorite cards, and it's got your guy on there.
Yep.
But the 62 league leaders card with it's a Clemente card for most people, but for you it's a Pinson card, and for me it's a Boyer card.
And a unibrow card there too.
For yeah, Wally Moon. Yeah, one-time Rookie of the Year winner for the Cardinals. But those are like all the Reds cards I have. I don't have a ton of cards, so it's just one of those things.
Hey, they're still good. I brought us. I was looking. I was going to try to pick. I had like probably two cards that were my favorite, but then I kept running across some other Cardinal cards going through my collection last night. So I'll just break these out. This one, I pulled this. I know he wasn't he's probably better known as a Met, but Keith Hernandez.
That's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, it was just it was cool to get him on a Cardinal card. I thought because I don't see too many of his autos on with the Cardinals, so I thought that was a really neat image of him. I know you like the gold cards, so I do have this David Freese rookie card gold.
Nice.
Actually, a lot of these are just ones I thought you'd like, probably. Got this Adam Wainwright. This was when I first got back into collecting. I was going to antique shops, and I mean, I was getting these. This is numbered out of 450. I mean, a rookie card. This was like 50 cents when I first got back into the hobby. So,
yeah, that's one of those cards. Why we need Victor.
I know. Like, and then here's like a little Bowman gold of your boy there. And then this one, I hate talking about prices, but I mean, I paid like $5 for this Wainwright auto back in the day.
That's nice.
And I believe this is from, I don't know what his rookie year is.
Well, he had a card all the way back in 2000. And
Did
he had a card in 2001, 2003.
Yeah.
I have one from 04,
And then I love Hall of Fame autos, so I just really like the image on this Simmons here. Thought that was a beautiful card.
It's really cool to see Ted Simmons get a lot more popularity.
Yeah.
Since his induction.
And he's got some really cool cards. I'm looking at his run. I mean, even some of his his cards in the '80s. He's got some, but they're catcher cards. So catcher cards are pretty cool. So.
Oh yeah.
Now this one might have been my first ever. I pulled this card out of a pack. This is probably my first auto that I ever pulled, and it's out of Upper Deck.
That's nice.
Yeah. I thought I had a Randy Johnson auto, and I thought it was the first one I ever pulled. I think I said that on a video of mine, but actually, once I found this, I'm like, no, this is the first auto that I ever pulled from a pack. And then my favorite Cardinal card of all time is.
Oh yeah. Such an amazing card. I mean,
Yep.
look at his face. He's about to wreck some ERAs right there.
I love this card. People who don't like this set, the black, I don't know what they're thinking, man. I love the image on this card. It's beautiful, beautiful. And that was a Strongsville pickup, man. I went through Strongsville the first day, found nothing on my list, and I was down and out. And then I went to trade night, and this was not on my list, and saw it at a table, and I'm like, the deal. I got a really good deal, and I always wanted that card, but it wasn't on my list for that show, and had to pick that one up. So
it's
all right.
One of the greatest cards ever made.
I think it is too. And I know his leaf. It's not really his rookie. It's a beautiful card. They're beautiful cards, but there's something about that card. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
the look on his face, and I think it's fantastic. So, all right, we showed those cards. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the players that played for both teams. I printed out a list. I know it says 364 batters played for both the Reds and the Cardinals, and 161 pitchers played for both teams. Do you have any cards or any guys you want to, before we get into our three main connections between the teams, do you have anything you want to show or of guys who played for both franchises?
Yeah, so I got a couple like pre-board cards here. Let me get it out of the sleeve. You know, Jim Bottomley. Like this is a Reds card. It's a Diamond Stars card, but he's a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. He's a Cardinals Hall of Famer. Played for both franchises.
Yep.
And here's another Reds card, but you got Chick Hafey.
Oh man, I got to get a Chick Hafey card.
Yeah, it was either this or the Gaudy card that I was trying to get because I wanted it to fit in a 9-page pocket page.
Yeah, his stuff's a little expensive too, man. Once you get back into those years and they're Hall of Famers, it's the price goes up.
You know, very well-known player, major contributions to baseball, but originally the Cardinals got Curt Flood in a trade with the Reds back in '58.
And I know about Curt Flood, and his name pops up. I don't ever remember. They don't really talk about him being on the Reds much. I guess he played a couple seasons with them, but he only had like 4 at-bats. He only played in 8 games and had 4 at-bats.
Yep. Yeah. And then Jim Edmonds.
Oh, man.
He
killed the Reds.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was sitting at home and they were playing in Cincinnati. I think this is '04. And he robbed a home run over the center field wall, and even he was shocked. And like, my dad and I were watching that game. We're like, "Oh my god!" You know?
Yeah, that was. I think it might have been off of Joey Votto. Maybe I can't remember who the batter was. I remember that, and it was late in the game too. And that might have tied the game or gave the Reds the lead, something like that.
51 career saves for Jason Isringhausen. He's blown 4 of them this year, but he's nailed down 21.
LaRue to center. Did he get all of it? Going back. It is. Did he catch it? He did it again. Edmonds, a miraculous catch to center field. He robbed Dunn in St. Louis, reaching over the wall, and I think he amazed himself the way he caught that.
He's got my favorite catch of all time, and that was when he was with the Angels. That catch, I think that's probably the best catch I've ever seen in a Major League Baseball game.
Same here. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. But
the next time he faced Matt, there's a fly ball center field, long run for Jim Edmonds. Oh, he made a catch! Unbelievable! Jerry, that may be the best catch I have ever seen.
Yeah, those were a couple. Those are cards I have that of players that play for both teams.
Okay, I got a few here. The first one is Paul Derringer. This is a Reds team issue from 1940.
Nice.
He was really good for the Reds. He actually had a couple good seasons with the Cardinals as well. But really under the radar pitcher, man. If you look up his numbers, he had some pretty darn good stats. Here's a guy who played. I think he plays for the Cardinals now, don't he? Sonny Gray.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be a Cardinal after this offseason, though.
Is he going to be gone?
Yeah, we're going through a rebuilding thing.
Yeah. Well, the Reds have been rebuilding since about '95. So this guy, I was surprised that he played for the Cardinals. This was my favorite player growing up, right here, Chris Sabo.
Yeah, it was what 95. I think he
Yeah,
played for the Cardinals. Yeah.
yeah. He ended up going back to the Reds, I think, in '96.
Yeah.
But, and then this card, some goofball gave me this card.
I know you're a big Veda collector. You know, I didn't want you to have to spend your money on a Cardinals card.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much, man. That's an awesome card. Got the OPG here, but Veda, you know Veda's my guy, and man, I got to show. I haven't showed this one on my channel. This is a recent pickup, so this is breaking news here on Cash Cards. Picked up this Cons card of Veda. Thought it was a great image.
Yeah.
I don't know if St. Louis, if you guys have any Cons cards. I don't know if.
Not really that I'm aware of. At least none of my collections have that it's come up, I guess I should say.
Yeah, there's only, I'm gonna take this one out of the wrapper here. There's only a handful of teams I think that have Cons cards. I didn't know if St. Louis was one. I don't recall seeing any. I see Joe Torre, but I see him, and I think he's in with the Braves. So
yeah.
And then here's Eric Davis had a little stint with the Cards.
Yep. Yeah,
that hurt me a little bit.
But. I've actually I met him a few years ago, 2023.
Yeah.
The All-Star game was in Seattle, and I had just reported in there, and so they were having this All-Star Fan Fest, and I went because Lee Smith was going to be there, and he was doing this guest speaking thing. But before him was Eric Davis.
Oh.
So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, he does a lot of talking engagements around here. I know the hospital I worked for, he worked with them because he was going through colon cancer. I think he might have been with Baltimore when all that started with the colon cancer, but he overcame that and came back. I think he got comeback player of the year or something. So he does.
Yeah, he got a lot of Baltimore.
Yeah. All right, and then I had some other. Let's see if we left anybody off the list. Reggie Sanders.
Yeah.
Looks like he did.
He was good for us.
Yeah, he played a couple years for you guys.
He was like a good luck charm. Like he couldn't stay on a team. He was on like 6 teams in 6 years or something like that. But everywhere he went, they were in the playoffs. You know, he was on y'all's '95 team that went to the playoffs and everything. He was a really good player.
Was he with the Diamondbacks when they?
I think so.
He was with them when they won it. He might have been. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. And he was on our 2004 pennant team, and he was just a winner.
Dimitri Young.
Yeah, he was a really, really good player for y'all. We got rid of him too soon.
That was a good trade for the Reds. I think they traded Jeff Brantley, I believe, for him.
Yeah, he was they definitely got him for a relief pitcher, but yeah, he was. I remember seeing his prospect cards and everything like that in the Cardinals uniform, and I think he came up. He was on the '96 team, but yeah, he went with y'all and had a really, really good career.
Yeah, he hit over 300 every season. I think he really did well in Detroit when he went over there. But
prolific baseball card collector too.
Yeah, I know he sold his collection too soon. Looks like.
Yeah.
Man, he had some banger cards.
Yeah.
How about Ron Gant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that '96 season for us, he was really good, and then a little bit of resurgence in '98, but it seemed like he would shine bright and then flame out, kind of thing. Yeah,
we had him for the '95 playoff team.
Yep.
And he had a big home run, I believe, off Hideo Nomo in that series. So.
In the air to deep left field, 2-0 Cincinnati.
Had your boy Jim Edmonds. Now Edgar Renteria, he was with the Reds.
I forgot he played for y'all.
Yeah, I think Walt Jocketty brought him in.
Yeah, he was pretty good for that.
One guy I wish the Reds would have actually kept last year was Harrison Bader. He had a pretty good year for. Was he with the Mets? Maybe I can't remember who he played with last year, but he had a good season. Great defender.
He finished the season with the Phillies.
Oh yeah, okay. He went to the Phillies. Yeah, that's right.
it was a handful of years ago. The Cardinals had this big PR tour trying to make him like a face of the team kind of thing. And then now he's been on like 6 or 7 teams since then. I don't know.
Yeah. But he had a good season last year. How about Tommy Pham? I was never a big fan of him, but
he's got an ego,
yeah.
I would say.
Ryan Ludwig.
Yeah, he was great for us. He had a 2009. That 2009 season was just phenomenal for him.
Yeah. I already mentioned Derringer. You guys had a couple Big Red Machine pitchers. You might not remember these guys. Clay Carroll and Fred Norman. They were pretty big on the Big Red Machine. I didn't know Mike Leake played for you guys.
It wasn't good.
They loved him here in Cincinnati. I mean, he didn't even go to the minor leagues. I mean, he came straight after they drafted him. He came straight to the MLB, and he could hit as a pitcher. He was a really good hitter as well. But he had some good seasons with us. But I guess not for the
No,
Cardinals.
he got a decent contract, and boy, it went bad.
Yeah. Brett Tomko.
Yeah, I remember him. 2003.
He was involved in the Ken Griffey Jr. trade to Seattle. That's why
Really?
I marked him down. Lee Smith was a Red for a year.
Yep.
He did all right. I mean, he did all right, but it was toward the later.
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah. And then there's a player, man. I got to get I tried to get a card of this guy on eBay last night, and I got outbid by $1 at the end. Slim Salee. That's a player. That's a pre-war player.
Okay.
That is actually from around my hometown in Ohio. I grew up out in the country, and Slim Salee. I played on Slim Salee field when I was in Knothole baseball.
Okay.
And he's
That's really cool.
He's got some really cool Cardinal cards, pre-war cards from back in the day. He's only got a couple. He played with the Reds on the 1919 World Series team.
Okay.
But he did way better. I mean, if you look up his stats, I mean, he had some really good seasons with the Cardinals. So that might be a pre-war player you could look at when you dig into that at one day.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for that. You ready to jump into the 3 main connections, brother?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let me get a drink of water here real quick because we might get into an argument. I don't know, man. Hopefully we keep this civil around here.
No, I think we'll be okay.
All right. The first guy. Now, this is not a player, but he was an executive. And unfortunately, he passed away. Was it this year?
Yeah.
He passed away. Walt Jocketty. And I knew a little bit about him when he was with the Cardinals, but when he came to the Reds, man, it was a pretty big deal because the Reds were going through, man, just like they are now. I mean, they're getting a little bit better now, but they were in a big-time drought, and they brought Jocketty in, and he really helped turn the team around. So I just kind of wanted to get your perspective on what you think about Walt Jocketty and what he meant to St. Louis.
Yes, I actually have a Walt Jocketty card.
Oh, you do? All right. That's cool.
It was in some fan favorite set or something. I don't know what Topps was doing, but anyway, Walt Jocketty card. It looks like the 2004, but it came out in 2005. I don't know, but anyway, really cool. Jocketty, I think it's similar to y'all. So when Augie Bush passed away in '89, so like the brewery as a whole kind of took over the Cardinals, and that's when like free agency was really starting with the Cardinals. So then you had like Willie McGee leave, Vince Coleman leave, and all these players were getting money elsewhere, with the exception of Ozzie Smith. And they were going young, right? That's when Joe Torre became the manager, and they had all these hot prospects that didn't pan out, similar to what the Cardinals are going through right now. And it just kind of like for the next 5-6 years, it was just like, blah, the brewery sold the team, and they had fired Joe Torre, and then that's when they brought in Walt Jocketty from the Athletics. He was like an assistant general manager or something with them.
Yeah, I think he ran their farm system. He started in 1980, And you could really, I think that's when people started looking at him because of the player development and the eye he had for talent in Oakland. Because toward the end of his run there, toward the end of the 80s, that's when they started becoming like their young players, like the McGuires, the Cansecos.
Yeah.
I think Walt Weiss won like Rookie of the Year. They had some really good talent coming up, and they went to 3 World Series in a row. Now I will say they did get swept by the Reds, and
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. But I think that's probably what caught the Cardinals' eye was how his player development and different things.
Yeah, and it was absolute. It was unbelievable what his hiring did for the franchise when you think about it. So they plucked him from Oakland, the new ownership did, and then what did he do? Similar to kind of like what he did in Cincinnati is bringing his guys in kind of thing, right? But that he lured Tony La Russa over, who brought in Dave Duncan. A couple years later, they traded for Mark McGuire, and that changed everything with attendance and all that stuff. But even they were a bad team in '95 and became a playoff team in a weak division. I think that Central's historically weak, but traded for like Gary Gaetti, Ron Gant, like you mentioned, Todd Sotomayor, Andy Bennis, bringing in all these guys, and that's what he was like really known for, is pulling off these trades. A lot of times trades for players who were like over the hill kind of thing, but
yeah, and I was looking at some of the moves. Like he didn't make any huge move. We'll talk about one guy. I'll try to leave one guy out of our conversation here because we'll be talking about him later. But some of the smaller moves, I was kind of looking at them, and it was moves that just fit the team right. Like he kind of had a really good idea of team baseball and what a team already had, and what they really needed. Like I think for the 2010 Reds, when they finally broke through, he picked up Ramon Hernandez as a catcher. He picked up Orlando Cabrera for shortstop, who they weren't crazy, all-star players, but they were solid guys.
Yeah,
really helped the team. I think he brought in Johnny Gomes, kind of a leader, fun clubhouse guy who had some power, off the bench. But it seems like Jocketty just had an amazing eye for talent.
Oh yeah, I
mean, it sounds like he brought those kind of guys into St. Louis as well. Like not just the big names, but just guys that really helped the roster out.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Matheny was backup journeyman catcher, but then they bring him in. Turns out he's a Gold Glove defender, great, signal caller and everything. It was just over and over and over again. He was just bringing guys in, and the consistent competitiveness of the team was just so much fun, and bringing like a Tony Womack.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Guys like that.
Yeah.
Are good team baseball player. Guy you want that, can actually hit in the clutch, play some defense, got some speed. Like he looked at the whole picture. He didn't just say, "Oh, this guy hit 30 home runs one year, but he can't play defense. He can't do this. He can't do that." I mean, that's not what Jocketty looked at. He looked at like complete ball players, and and then for the Reds, I mean, him bringing in Aroldis Chapman. That was a guy he signed. The Reds didn't really have much of they weren't drafting guys or signing guys from Cuba or things like that at the time. It had been a while, and he started to look because I think he knew the restraints he had with the payroll of the Reds, which they still have to this day. I don't know, but he kind of looked at other ways to build a good team. So I appreciated that about him.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like, it's unfortunate that I think that the ownership here wanted to have that, that the minor league churn.
Yeah.
Where it's all, the team is built from within. Whereas Jocketty was definitely a move maker, getting, the veterans and everything. That's why I think that, it's unfortunate that, his style didn't fit their future kind of thing. And that's how he ended up with y'all.
Yeah, I read this I forget who the writer was on this, but I thought it described Jocketty pretty well. He said he was widely revered as one of the sharpest minds in the game, a relentless builder of contenders, and a fearless trader with an uncanny eye for talent. Like being a fearless trader, I agree with that. I mean, when he first took over for the Reds, they didn't sign him as the GM. They just had him as, I forget what his title was, but then they fired the GM in the middle of the season. And the first thing that Jocketty did was he traded Adam Dunn, which was a fan favorite. He traded Ken Griffey Jr. just like that. Like he knew, that wasn't going to be the future, and that's not how this team, what was going to make this team successful. It sucked for the fans, but he was like I read there, he was fearless. Like, I mean, he did not, that did not bother him. He knew what he was doing, and he had a great eye for talent. And I thought that was a pretty good quote about him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. Now I wrote down, I was looking at some websites, and it had Walt Jocketty's 5 best player moves as a Cardinal.
Okay.
I wanted to run them by you, see what you thought, if it's accurate or not.
Okay.
So, number 5 was trading for Mark McGwire.
Yeah, that changed everything. It really, really did. The team wasn't that good, and it brought in the fans. 3 million fans a year every year. That's when the whole BFIB thing started. The greatest fans in baseball was because of a Sports Illustrated quote by McGwire. I mean, it was huge.
And the guys that he traded, I mean, he traded T.J. Matthews,
Yeah,
Eric Ludwig, and Blake Stein. I mean, that's for Mark McGwire. I mean, that was one heck of a move. I will mention they did have a couple honorable mentions, signing Chris Carpenter in 2002.
Oh, yeah.
Signing Larry Walker in 2004, and trading for Will Clark in 2000 was few honorable mentions. I won't talk about number 4, the trade he made, because we're going to be talking about that guy here in a little bit. Trading for starting pitcher Adam Wainwright.
Oh, man.
Back in 2003. That was a big move.
That was one of the greatest trades in Cardinals history. It recency bias, of course.
Right.
But JD Drew just never became what we thought he was going to become. That was a very contentious tenure. He had a nice career.
He did.
But it wasn't exactly Mickey Mantle like we thought it was going to be, right? And then we now know with the what Waino became with Yachty, that one of the greatest trades.
Yeah, and it started right away when you guys got him. I mean, what did he did something, did he get the last out of the World Series? Was that
in 2006? Yeah.
06?
Yeah.
For the first time since 1982, St. Louis has a World Series winner.
Yeah, he came up for like a minute in 2005, and then his rookie season was 2006. He was in the bullpen because he actually wasn't like blowing people away in the minor leagues. Right. That's one thing like you forget about. But yeah, his first major league at bat, he hit a home run. And then,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was against the Giants, I believe.
Here's a swing and a shot deep to left, and Adam Wainwright has just hit his first big league home run. Holy mackerel. He really blasted that thing. The first pitch to him by the left-hander, and I mean, he knocked about 4 seats out of the left field bleachers. Woo! A home run, and it's now 4-3. Holy. He just walked up there and said, kaboom.
And then, he caught the last, or he struck out Brandon Inch to end the 2006 World Series
with a wicked curveball.
Yeah, well, the curveball was the Beltran.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the greatest moments in Cardinals history. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. That was good for you guys, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, we talked about this guy trading for outfielder Jim Edmonds.
Yep, and people forget, like, he was, he had some really good seasons with Anaheim, but he was coming off of injury-plagued seasons.
Yeah.
And that's why they were able to get him for Kent Bottenfield and Adam Kennedy.
Yeah, I remember Adam Kennedy was a big prospect back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked out good. And then they had his number one was hiring Tony La Russa.
No doubt.
That was you agree with that?
No doubt. Yeah, that's how Dave Duncan came in. So they were able to save money on pitchers by him just doing his Dave Duncan things with them. And the trade for McGuire doesn't happen without La Russa.
Right.
And I don't think it's you can assemble all the talent that you want. That doesn't mean you're going to win, right? We saw that with the Mets this year. We saw that with the Padres in recent years. But it's like what you were talking about earlier. It's like assembling a team,
Right.
and I think you have to have a good manager to win. And Larissa is definitively one of those. Love him or hate him, but he's definitely a great manager.
Yep. That was one of the things Jocketty they brought in Dusty Baker,
Yep.
Tony La Russa's best friend, right?
Yeah.
I think Jocketty knew what that you had to have somebody that could control that team, control that talent, and just bring everybody together and had a good baseball mind. And so that was like some of his first moves was bringing in a manager. So he did did really good by bringing in La Russa. So
yeah, bring in a manager, bring in veterans.
Yeah, bringing in the veterans, the team guys, and just and he'll be missed. I know he made the Cardinals Hall of Fame. I think he should really be considered for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Just looking at his numbers, I mean, what he did for two franchises, even though the Reds didn't win, a championship, but you could tell the talent that he had to get them over the hump. And his years in St. Louis, I think he should definitely be considered.
I mean, it's hard to do what he did in these markets, considering the economy of baseball.
Right. That's huge. So, all right, man, we're done with Jocketty. You ready for the next connection?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't have any. You already showed a baseball card to him. I don't have any, and I want to put us. I should have got us out of showdown mode. I left us in showdown mode the whole Walt Jocketty talk. So I apologize for that.
Everybody no, you're good.
Close up of my ugly mug. So Scott Rowland is going to be our second connection out of three. For us, speaking about Jocketty, man, that was his big trade for us. I mean, he traded away, I think it was Edwin Encarnacion, who ended up having some really good seasons with Toronto. But for the Reds, it worked out because Scott Rowland was the guy they needed to get over the hump and to get into the playoffs. But going way back, I remember Scott Rowland coming up as a Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Big prospect. Had some good seasons with the Phillies. Was winning Gold Gloves and All-Star teams. Getting voted to All-Star teams. Fun guy to watch. Real quiet. Reserved. Just seemed like a player you would definitely want on your team if you're the coach. And then just let me know about him coming over to St. Louis. What do you remember about them getting him and what he meant to your guys' franchise?
Yeah, so I got his traded card when he got traded to the Cardinals, 2002. But it was huge, and that was those years where Jocketty was just pushing and pushing and pushing for a World Series. And I would say what led to him coming to the Cardinals was a bit foreshadowing on his departure with the Cardinals. He got into a pretty public pissing match with the Phillies because of contract negotiations. And, Philadelphia had, he's in their Hall of Fame now too, but it was, they hated him. I remember being a Cardinals fan living in that area.
Yeah.
Because Cape May is only an hour and a half south of Philadelphia. So they hated him then. But Rowland, his tenure in St. Louis is a what could have been. I really think, because he comes over in the 2002 season. They're in the NLDS against the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fielding a ball there at third base, and the runner runs into him, and he hurts his shoulder, and he misses the rest of the postseason. If he's in the lineup, do they beat the Giants? Who knows?
Yeah.
2005, his season was cut short because he was running to first base and he ran into Heapsop Choi and busted his shoulder again. So he missed the rest of the 2005 season, and that's a year where they won 100 games, made it to the NLCS. If he's on the team, who knows? And then 2006, they do win the World Series, yes, but it was pretty famous that he got benched for Scott Spezio in the NLCS, and from then on, his relationship with La Russa was done.
Mm.
They kept him around for the 2007 season. It was like a bring the band back together kind of thing. But that didn't work out so well. Edmonds was pretty much done. Roland had a down season, and then they started getting rid of a lot of the guys, and then that's when they went through a lull as a team.
Right.
And that's when Jocketty left. But then, he ends up going to Cincinnati and has a little bit like of a resurgence in a sense.
Right.
But yeah, his time, I love watching him play. I remember when he got elected to the Hall of Fame, and everybody's like, well, who went to the games to watch Scott Rowland play?
Right.
This guy. I loved his defense. I mean, it was a ball would get hit to third base. You knew he was getting it, and he had a rocket of an arm.
Yeah.
An absolute rocket of an arm. But he has some pretty iconic moments as a Cardinal. That Game 7 home run off of Roger Clemens.
That's what I was hoping he was going to get to.
Now Roland with a chance to give the Cardinals a lead for the first time tonight, which he does. Is it gone? Yes!
And the MV3 bobblehead here I got, Oh man, but he had a great time with the Cardinals, but it feels like there could have been more.
Could have been more. Yeah, with the Reds, I know I think it was his last season. Was it 2012? Reds blew it in the playoffs against the Giants. They were up 2-0 in a best of 5. And the 2 games they won was at San Francisco. So they won both their road games. And then they lost 3 straight at home to get eliminated from the playoffs. And Scott Rowland, and I think it was game 5, he made a pretty bad error to, I think in the late innings to give the game away. I think it was that game or maybe the game before. Whichever, it was one of the they could have clinched it, and which he was always known for his defense, and it happens.
Yeah.
But I know Reds fans, they still he didn't have he is kind of a local guy. I mean, I think he's an Indiana boy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of a homecoming when he came to Cincinnati. But it was like I said, it was the move that they had Votto, they had Bruce, they had some of these young hitters, Zach Cozart. They just needed a leader on that team, somebody with some playoff experience that could lead by example, and he was like the perfect match to get that team.
Yeah, I mean he was a Jocketty guy. It's funny when he got traded to the Cardinals. It was, oh, my dad, I'm from this place, and my dad used to bring me to Cardinals games all the time, and then he gets traded to the Reds, and it was, oh, I'm from this place. My dad used to take me to Reds games all the time. I'm like, which is it, dude?
Yeah. And I did a little reading about him, and he did a lot of stuff for charities. There's a story that I read about him connecting with this kid from Indiana that had cancer. This is when he was playing with the Cardinals, and he took a real started to, I guess he connected with the father as well, and wanted to, instead of just they might have brought him to a game. It was maybe a Make-A-Wish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he really became tight with them. He said he wanted to come visit, but he didn't want any of the media to know. He was just kind of like that guy. He's like, please don't tell the media, don't tell anybody. I just want to do this, without any publicity. And he stuck around with that kid until the end, and would visit him, play video games with him. bring him to games, and I thought that was a really good story. So tells you a lot about the guy, his character. Even though he did have, I know when he left Philly, it was a little rough. When he left St. Louis, it was probably a little rough as well.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, do you think he definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame? Because I know some people argue that.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know this is because he's in.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with
That's
you.
all there is to it, for me.
I agree. I just know some people like to argue him being in, but
No, and it's those kind of arguments that's what makes the Major League Baseball. I don't invest in it. I invest in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. That's why I like listening to like you and Dave. Valuing the Reds Hall of Fame.
right.
I love hearing about that.
Yeah. Dave's making headways on getting a card of every guy in the Reds Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'm not that close, but that's something I work on, and I think it's fun, man. I mean, that's your team,
Oh, yeah.
I think their Hall of Fame should mean more to you than anything.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I was kind of interested in your take on Scott Rowland as a Red, because he's on y'all's ballot this year.
Right. Yeah, I say no to that. I mean, he only had pretty much one really, good season. I think he was only there 4 years. He did have an impact on that 2010 team, but I would say no. My pick for that team is a guy we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. And that might be the only guy that I was looking at their ballot. I mean, they have guys like Zach Cozart on there, and some of the names I don't understand, but like Edison Volquez. I mean, he had one good season with the Reds.
Our ballot's getting the same way. I think it's
that.
just a matter of time. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Aaron Harang's on there. Aaron Harang, I mean, not a great career, but he did have he had 4 or 5 pretty good years with the Reds. Like, he's probably the only other interesting guy that I would think about. I mean, he was their ace for, which is pretty sad, but I mean, if he was on a better team, he might have had, 18 win, he might have been a 17, 18 win guy on a really good team. So, but yeah, I think the Reds Hall of Fame, the Cardinals Hall of Fame, man. I would like to go to a Cardinal game sometime. And is their Hall of Fame right there?
It's across the street.
Is it? Okay.
I don't think it's as massive as the Reds Hall of Fame, from what I understand, but I love it.
Yeah, the Reds Hall of Fame is ridiculous. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Reds fan.
No, I think that's awesome.
It's overwhelming. Like, it's got so much stuff. Like, they put a lot of effort into their Hall of Fame, and it's pretty incredible. So if you're ever in town, man, let me know. We'll check it out.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have any? Let's see. Let me get us back to. We shouldn't have been in this mode last time for Walt Jocketty. But do you have any Scott Rowland cards besides the one that traded that you showed?
No, that's
it.
Yeah, that's it. I used to collect team sets. Then I stopped doing that, and Rowland's not one of those, like, when he got traded to Toronto, that kind of changed my collecting of him. But I had this for the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
So you hate Scott Rowland? You're saying you hate Scott Rowland? Is what you're saying?
No.
Just kidding. How about an Edwin Encarnacion card for Scott Rowland? That's who we traded away right there. The guy who has the parrot, carries the parrot on his arm.
Yeah.
I do have Rowland. I guess this is his rookie. This is his, like,
I think is that 95?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I love Scott. He was one of my favorite players growing up, man. I got a ton of his, and I just love these autographs from the late 90s.
Yeah, his signature is sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pulled this one out of a pack myself. This was fairly recent.
Image.
Yeah. These were fun little pickups, man. The little minor league autos.
I've thought about getting one of those, because that says Clearwater Phillies on it, and I used to live there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was stationed there 2019 to 23.
They're cheap, man. There you go.
That's
the only one I got him on the Cardinals. I thought this was a pretty cool looking card right there. And then I found this one I think last year to show. I didn't even know he had any Reds signatures. So
Oh yeah, I mean they make cards of everything now. So
he's definitely
yes.
an affordable Hall of Famer that you can pick up. Like if you want his autograph, you can. I think I got that at a card show for like 10 or 12 bucks. And
Sweet.
I probably overpaid for that. All right, man. You ready to round this bad boy up? I've had you here. I don't even know how long we've been going, man. It's just.
I'm enjoying this, so I don't care.
All right. Let's see. Let me get my paperwork here. I don't have a lot of paperwork for this. I didn't do too much research. I know this one pretty well. This last and final connection between our teams. And you would think like, yeah, we're going to talk about a playoff game or maybe, something that, big time that happened between the two clubs. But we're going to be talking about a baseball brawl, a fight between the teams. And this was a pretty ugly moment. This was an ugly moment. What year did this happen? 2010. Yep. This is where the Reds finally started to blossom as a team. They started to be competitive again. And there was really not much of a rivalry. I mean, it's hard to have a rivalry in sports when, maybe one team's bad and one team's good, or both teams are bad. Like nowadays, the Reds Cardinals, I don't really consider them having a rivalry right now because neither team's been that great.
That's why I don't understand why you hate the Cardinals so much. I mean, like Brewers fans, I can understand it because of 82 and 11, and then Cubs fans, of course. But it's just like, what did we ever do to you?
It's from the 2010s, man. It's from the 2010s.
Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa are retired.
All that is what it stems from. For me, that's what it stems from. So both teams, they were competing for the division title that year. I mean, it was a pretty close race.
Yep.
And they had a series in Cincinnati. And I don't know if Brandon Phillips, if he said the quote right before the game or if he said it the day before. I can't remember. But I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
It was the day before.
It was the day before. And I'll go ahead and I'll read Brandon Phillips' quote that he said. And if my kids are watching, I'm sorry. But Brandon Phillips was quoted talking about the Cardinals. He said, "I'd play against these guys with one leg. We have to beat these guys. The Cardinals. All they do is bitch and moan about everything. All of them. They're little bitches. All of them. I really hate the Cardinals." That's twice. "Compared to the Cardinals, I love the Chicago Cubs. Let me make this clear. I hate the Cardinals." End quote. So, let us know how you feel, Brandon Phillips.
I tell you what, he's up for election for y'all's Hall of Fame this year, and I'm willing to bet he's the one that gets in.
If he never had a hit for the Reds and he just said that quote, I would probably vote. No, I wouldn't. I'm just kidding. So he says that, and so the game's starting the next day. And what Phillips would always do, he was the leadoff hitter for the Reds. He would come up, no matter who was catching, he would get in the batter's box and he would tap the catcher's shin guards with his bat.
Yep.
So right after this, after the quote, the next day, he does that, and Yadier Molina is catching. He taps his shin guards with his bat, and then I'll let you go ahead and throw your 2 cents in here.
Yeah, so I mean, Yachty's one of those guys. It's a love him or hate him kind of thing. He is I would say, fiercely loyal guy, right?
Yeah.
And I know Brewers fans kind of hate him too. Because he had an episode there in a game in Milwaukee. But that's what he is, and he took exception to what Brandon Phillips had to say, and it's funny because I got this book on Yadier Molina. and this incident has its own chapter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and to give some context to what Brandon Phillips was saying, he's one of the bigger guys on the team,
Right.
one of the most important players on the team, right? And he, I think, missed a game or missed a couple of games due to injury or something leading up to that series, and that's why he was asked about it. And so, like I would play with them with like one leg or something like that.
Oh,
That's what provides the context to it. But it pissed Yachty off, and so then that's when it happened.
And against a young left-hander who got batted around his last time out against Houston.
He did. His last couple of starts have been a little bit on the rough side. He started out very strong. And, a lot of times you see a young guy catch fire early on and then come back to the norm. And I think that's what's happened to Mike Leake. We saw it last night.
Yadier Molina right in the face of Brandon Phillips. And we've yet to set the stage about everything that happened, and you get a look at it. For those who may not have known, Brandon Phillips last night to both Jim Day and Hal McCoy made some comments about the Cardinals, saying he hates the Cardinals, and used some less than family language in his descriptions. And as soon as Brandon got to the plate, Yadier Molina got in his face. Now there's Rolen and Molina, former teammates. This series has been void of bad blood probably until the end of the night last night. And there's Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa. They've had their issues with one another over the years.
Well, I'm really stunned that a war of words would actually cause the benches to empty before they get going in the bottom of the first inning. Obviously, some discourse between Yadier Molina and Brandon Phillips sparked the whole thing. We won't know until after a game exactly what was said.
Now
Scott Rolen is getting into it.
And now it is turning ugly.
With Chris Carpenter. And Carpenter's the one down there chirping.
Carpenter had issues with his own teammates last night. And it is getting really ugly as we've got punches and kicks. Johnny Cueto, the starting pitcher, is being wrestled away.
And this is not good at all, because this is the kind of situation where somebody can get up, get hurt, get their finger stepped on, and it's just not baseball. I'm hoping that the umpires can get this thing under control and we can get on to playing the game of baseball, because nothing is going to be solved by this. But I will tell you one thing, that there is not a lot of love between these two ball clubs, despite the fact that a lot of players on each team have played for the other
When we
team.
talk about it now, it's just like one of those things, but that was a very unfortunate brawl. And I know, like, as Cardinals fans, we couldn't understand it because you had Scott Rolen on that team.
right.
And it's like, you were a Cardinal. You know what I mean? Jocketty was obviously in the front office, but one of the things, Jason LaRue, former Red,
Yep.
and at that time Cardinal, during that brawl, got kicked in the head by Johnny Cueto.
Right.
And that ended his career.
Yeah, and I think I saw an interview with him not too long ago, and he said he still feels symptoms from that. But it got ugly. I mean, it was. You would think, it didn't look like, at the beginning, like it was. There was just something there, like an underlying something, like a hatred between those teams, because it was kind of like, just two guys kind of getting in each other's face. It wasn't like somebody got plucked in the head or anything like that. It was just two guys arguing, and those can get separated pretty easily. But then it just got nasty.
It exploded.
I don't know if it had to do with La Russa and Baker, hating each other as well.
It had to be, because if you look at our rivalry with the Giants, I guess, if you want to say, but that was pretty heated. And then Dusty Baker went to Chicago, and that's always been like a friendly rivalry, except for those years.
Yeah.
The Reds, I mean, I got nothing against the Reds, but it was those years, and for whatever reason, I don't think other teams had this problem with Dusty Baker managed teams. It was just him and La Russa just had a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that goes back to. Where that stemmed from with them two.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, there's some you could see footage of when he was with Chicago, like them just mouthing to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy stuff back and forth. Like, I mean, real anger between those two, like real stuff. So I'll have to look into that a little further and find out what started all that. But yeah, the fight, like you said about LaRue. Now Cueto, they pushed this all the way against the screen, behind
Yeah.
home plate. Cueto was just backed into it. I mean, and he's got all those guys piling into him. He didn't have anywhere to go. I think I think it's dirty for him to kick, but I don't know. I think he might have been freaking out as well. It sucked that LaRue, gosh, man, because LaRue was one of my favorite Reds for a while. We hadn't had a good catcher in many years, and LaRue was a great defensive catcher, and he had a little bit of, he could hit a little bit. I mean, he had a little bit of pop. He could hit you 12, 15 home runs, and he played awesome defense and was really good with the pitching staff. But yeah, that was just with Cueto doing that, just made it even worse. I mean, made it just look real ugly. I hated that because I mean LaRue, he probably had a couple years left as a backup catcher for you guys.
Yeah, probably. And, it's one of those things like years later, when Brandon Phillips would come into town, he would get booed because that's just what it was a thing, right? Yachty would get booed in Cincinnati and Phillips would get booed in St. Louis, but it wasn't like a malicious hatred thing. It was more of like a funny, like, this is what we do now kind of thing.
Right.
But the hatred for Cueto persisted because of that, because of what happened to LaRue. Like, I remember Cueto was a free agent one year, and Cueto kind of like fit the bill for what the Cardinals were expected to go after. Right. And fans were worried that he was going to sign with the Cardinals. Like, oh my God, then he is not liked at all.
Yeah, I now Cueto for the Reds. The Reds fans love Cueto. I know they hated to see him go. I mean, he was like, the Reds hadn't had a 20-game winner since probably the 40s. He was like the first 20-game winner I think they had. I might be wrong on that, but they had a couple guys get like 18. No, we had Danny Jackson 120 in 1988, and then we hadn't had a 20-game winner since '88. So Cueto did that. He was a really good pitcher for us, but that was an ugly scene, man. I could see how St. Louis fans would, if that happened to one of our players. I could definitely see how they would, how they would feel about that.
I look at the brawl kind of like three different ways. For me, it was like I said, it was just an extension of Dusty Baker. That's how I look at it. But then there's the brawl itself, and that I don't like at all. But you go to what started it, and that was the Brandon Phillips tapping the shin pad of Yachty, and that moment when Yachty got up and got into his face. Like, that's a part of like why we love Yachty. Like I said, he's just a fiercely loyal guy. And you got to figure that was 2010. So that's year 4 Yachty. You know what I mean? Or year 6, sorry. So he's still towards that front end of his career kind of thing. And that was just that building of him becoming like a beloved Cardinal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think
the brawl itself, though, no way.
Now, I'm hoping that eventually one day, man, like our teams will be rivals like they were back then. Because for me, that would mean we're good. You know what I mean? We're both our franchises are doing well again because the 2010s, man, I mean, for a 4 or 5 year stretch, it was a nice rivalry, the Reds and Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I fear that unless something happens in the next labor agreement, it's operating in the current economics of baseball.
Right.
Is going to be tough for us to do, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So
I'd much rather y'all be successful than the Cubs. That's 100% sure. So
we can agree on that.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that, Cubs fans. All right, so I'm assuming you have some Yadier Molina cards. Is there anything else you want to add about the fight before we get into?
Actually, I do. It's more like adjacent. So when I was reading this book, there's actually Yachty had, I guess, some sort of like slight against the Reds, and that dated back to 2000, the year that he got drafted. I guess he did like a pre-draft visit or something like that with the Reds,
Yeah.
and he really, really thought the Reds were going to draft him early in that draft. And I was like, "Whoa, it was him?" He got drafted in the fourth round by the Cardinals, but he thought that he was going to get drafted by the team that had Johnny Bench,
Mm.
and it did not happen. And it was like a chip on his shoulder because you know how players love to have those uh, from then on. And
Right.
it was kind of wild. I did not know about that until recently.
I didn't know that about that either. I'm glad that he had respect for Bench like that. So that tells you. You could see, man. I mean, we are definitely not Yadier Molina fans here in Cincinnati, but I've always had respect. I think you could. I think you can not like a player from another team, a rival team, but
Mhm.
still have respect for that team and that player. So I've always had respect for him. He was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't deny what he. Watching him on the field, the way he played defense and had big hits, and you could definitely see being he was a leader on that team, and to see a guy stand up for the whole team like that. I mean, for me, that's how I am. I mean, I've always been involved with team sports. I'm that kind of guy, and I think that's definitely something you need on a team. Somebody who is a leader and will stand up for everybody, and I think it really helps the team to see somebody like that, to see him stand
yeah.
up to Brandon Phillips that day was huge for the team. I mean, I just, I hate to say it. Sorry, Reds fans, but man, I have a ton of respect for Molina, and you can tell I'm gonna show some cards of him. So
Yeah, so I only pulled out two cards for this just because of the themes.
okay,
So one of the fun moments was when the All-Star game was in Cincinnati,
yep,
and so Yachty was on the team and he got booed.
From the St. Louis Cardinals, Yadier Molina.
So that's his All-Star card for
yep,
that year.
gold,
And then this one, Stadium Club with their awesome images.
yep,
And this is the base copy. I want to get like a cool copy of it, just because, but check that out.
nice, that's sweet.
With Votto sliding into home.
Yep,
We know he was out because of who was there, but
I I wonder how those guys feel about each other. I bet they have respect for each other.
I don't know. I mean, even Votto in his later years was talking about how much he hates the Cardinals. So
Yeah, yeah. He's going to be a broadcaster. It sounds like he's going to be
I
doing
saw
some
that.
soon.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What I brought, here you go. We got a little Johnny Cueto. Got a little Johnny Cueto rookie auto. Sure you like that one. But I do have the Jason LaRue
There you go.
autograph right there. Kind of talk about the moment. Got some Brandon Phillips. It was one heck of a deal the Reds got. I mean, the Reds gave away nothing to get him from the Indians. There's his rookie card. Little auto. I'm sure you like seeing these Brandon Phillips cards.
I
This
mean,
is,
I love the story. You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's just
Now I don't. My wife and I, we went to when we were having our son. He'll be 12 next year. We went on I never knew these things existed. A baby moon. Have you ever heard of a baby moon? It's not a honeymoon. It's a baby moon. So
wow.
when you're pregnant, you couples take a trip somewhere before the baby gets here, like like a little last hurrah before the baby arrives. So we went to a Wrigley Field to watch a game between the Reds and the Cubs, and ended up we got to the hotel. I come downstairs to get a coffee or something. I look over. There's Billy Hamilton walking by. I'm like, what? There's Billy Hatcher. I don't know if you remember Billy Hatcher, the
Yeah, I know who that
Reds
is.
coach. Jim Day, he's like a Reds announcer. And I see Brandon Phillips. So we're in the Reds hotel. Like we had no idea we're staying at the same hotel.
Wow.
And we ended up getting some pictures. My wife's belly's all out there, and I took some pictures with her and Todd Frazier. different guys like that. And Brandon Phillips was just standing there, had nothing to do, and we asked him for if we could take a picture. He didn't want to do it, man. Like, he did not want to take a picture with my pregnant wife, and kind of made him feel bad about it. And he did, and I can probably throw it up here on this video. But he was came off a little jerkish during that, which I know you bug a player, but I think they were all waiting for I don't know if they were waiting for the team bus or whatever to come pick him up. But yeah, there was not a lot of people around. I just thought we'd ask him, and he really didn't want to. So, but I made him. I must have gave him a stern look. I might tell Yadier Molina about it if he didn't take that pick. So I brought a few. I got other Yachty. I got other Yachty rookies, but these are some of my favorite ones. The bazooka. I always like that image on that card.
Yeah.
On the Topps Total.
And there's red variants to them as well.
Yeah. There's that. That's
yeah,
like Bowman Heritage. Yeah. I was not collecting during this time. These were some of the cards I was picking up. But my favorite rookie of his is this little Cracker Jack mini.
Yeah, I've thought about those cards, but I gotta have some self-control.
Oh man, they weren't when I bought them. They weren't expensive at all at the time. So that's it, man. What do you think? You got anything else to add? You got you want to say anything bad about the Reds or?
No, I mean
I'm kidding with you.
Some of my favorite baseball moments actually involves the Reds. Like I already talked about the Griffey, right? Mm-hmm. But back in 2005, the Reds and the Cardinals, the last regular season series. So that was the last year of Bush 2.
Yeah.
And I was at the final game.
Nice.
And that's my ticket with versus the Reds. Similar to y'all in Cincinnati, where opening day is should be a national holiday.
Yeah.
2014, I got to go to opening day, and it was against the Reds.
Nice.
So I picked up that souvenir, and that was also one of the times I got to do the big flag behind the center field wall. So I had it framed up.
Let me get a little closer on that one.
Trying to.
Here, let me give you the full screen.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, so that's all
you're fine. But these are
that's sweet.
Significant moments in my fandom.
That had to be an awesome moment being on the field like that.
And it happened to be with the Reds, so I don't know. I don't have animosity towards the Reds at all. Similar to like Royals fans hate us too, and I don't understand why. And I don't have any animosity towards the Royals, but it is what it is. But it's just these really cool things. Like I said, 3 of the most significant like in-person baseball moments for me happens to involve the Reds. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I do. I know you were talking. This is a little off, but you were talking about opening day and stuff. I don't know if this was not opening day, but this was around opening day when I know Mark Whitten. Didn't he hit 4 home runs against the Reds?
4 home runs, 12 RBIs, which tied a record with Jim Bottomley.
Yeah, we probably should have talked about that a little bit.
Jim Bottomley.
Yeah.
But hard hitting Mark Whitten.
I know. I mean, what a game! Because I thought that was like. I think that game had got rained out or something the day before. I don't know. It was like a late game. It was early in the season. So
yeah, it was what was that 93, 94?
Yeah, it was. I'm like, why are you pitching to this guy? I don't know. I think he hit one off Rob Dibble. I mean, he just crushed the ball. It's like, dude, that was a memory of the Cardinals. See, that's why we don't like you guys, man. It's stuff like that. You beat us.
I just thought it was because of all the winning.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, all the winning, all that stuff. That's like people don't like Tom Brady, and that's just how it is. Man.
Yeah.
So, but you're in a good spot there. So you got the most like championships of all the National League teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as the Dodgers keep spending $1 billion a year, that's not going to be a true statement soon.
I know. We're not going to have a chance, man, with that kind of spending. But Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'd like to get at least one more before I die. That's all that matters. I got to see one. If I can see one more before I die, let my kids see it, I'd be happy with that. So,
Yeah.
But man, thank you so much for doing this, dude. Thank you for your service to our country. Are you officially retired now, or?
No, I my last day on active duty is April 30th
Okay.
Next year, but I go on terminal leave January 15th.
Okay.
And I'm on the job search.
All right, brother. Well, good luck to you. Thank you, man, for your service. I do. You guys have a special place in my heart, and appreciate everything you do. So.
No, well, thank you. And like I said, I'm flattered you had me on this show. This was a lot of fun. I loved it.
It was, man. So, all right, guys. Thank you, John, again. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next month with another episode. Y'all take care, and God bless. Bye.